I really liked this episode, and it's been a while since I have reviewed the Boruto, right? And it's because, yeah, I have a lot of things to do, a lot of things have happened, right? So let's just get on with the review, because that's what you're here for mostly, right? So it's Sarada vs Araya, right? And Araya is known to be the weirdest motherfucker in terms of the way he fights, because you don't know how he fights. Anything you do doesn't affect him, right? And he got a win against Inojin, whose team I'm going to talk about later in my notes right here. But let's talk about Inojin for a second, alright? So Inojin is known to be the cockiest motherfucker, right? Based on what he says, he doesn't really care about what he says. He's really blunt and straight to the point, and doesn't really consider other people's emotions, and that makes him cocky. And everyone had a winning streak, and this guy said, you know what, I'm just gonna go in there and do it too. And I think that this could have been character development after he lost, because for a person to have so much confidence in them, and to get that confidence destroyed is gonna destroy them, because they have built their character around this confidence that they have. And the fact that he had this and went in there and got destroyed, I feel like that should have put him down, and it kind of did, because we saw the team on the stairs waiting for the next match, right? And I think this could have been perfect character development, because then he would have learned not to be too cocky, right? Not to be too confident, and never to underestimate his opponents. And that could have been his character development over a period of time. But based on the results of this episode, at the end of this episode, I can see that they did not go for that route, right? Or route, or however you want to pronounce it, right? So they never went for that, and it's unfortunate really. But the episode makes up for it, because I really like the chuunin exam. I like the way they've done things differently than the movie. And now we're gonna have a versus fight between 3 people, right? So yeah, that's all about Inojin that I'm going to talk about. So number 2 is, let's talk about Sarada's Sharingan, right? So it has been said that Sarada has shit stamina, or at least it seems like a lot of the younger generation lack the resource in order to actually fight, right? Sarada lacks the stamina, and she has a low amount of chakra. And it was also mentioned that Mitsuki had a low amount of chakra when he was using his jutsus against Shinki, right? And then Boruto also does not have the same amount of chakra like Naruto. It's like the younger generation have a shorter amount of chakra compared to the rest. I think it's a way of nerfing them, right? Because these younger generations have actually learned powerful and incredible jutsus from the previous generation, which are incredible, right? So they want to make sure that even though they have these unique jutsus that the previous generation did not have at the start of Naruto, right, they want to nerf them to make sure that they cannot abuse it. Because if they all had good chakra, the battles would have been just nuke vs nuke basically. And I think that is why they gave them low chakra and stamina and stuff, right? So yeah, Sarada right now cannot maintain the first stage Sharingan, so I wonder what the third stage Sharingan is gonna do to her, right? So yeah, now let's talk about number 3. Number 3 is Araya's puppet, right? Now this guy is not even in the ring, this guy is outside the ring, right? And according to the rules, right, you cannot fall out the ring. But then Shikamaru says if he was never in the ring to begin with, then obviously he's not disqualified, because he has someone in there working for him, right? He has a puppet in there. But that is really cheating at its finest, because think about this, right? Having a puppet in the ring doing all the work for you, right, is like having a shadow clone that does not explode after you attack it. So the shadow clone can take as much abuse as possible, right, and not explode. And the thing is, if the battle ends, you have not taken any damage because you were not in the ring in the first place. So I think that's unfair and that's cheating, and Naruto is right. They need to amend the rules, because this guy is basically cheating. He's pretending to be there when it's not actually him. That's like putting genjutsu on someone and getting them to do your fighting for you, which is fighting, but you're supposed to be in the ring, right? So we have the fireball jutsu, which Sarada uses, right? And I was quite surprised that she even knew that. I hope that in the future, when these characters learn new techniques, that they actually show us them learning these new techniques, because so you know, when the results pay off, when they actually use the techniques and it works in battle, we can actually be, you know, more happy. It's more rewarding to see that happen, because you've seen how much effort they put into it, right? And you know, it's like, you know, the whole thing about, would you rather work hard to get something you want and reap, you know, the result of it, or would you rather just have it handed to you, kind of thing? And most of the time, people are more happier with things they worked hard for than things they easily got, kind of thing. And I think if we saw how much hard work they put into this, it would actually, you know, make it more appealing. Speaking of appealing, the visuals for this fight, you know, are very, very beautiful. And I mean, the lighting and everything for Boruto has been perfect so far. For me, in my eyes, it has been perfect so far, because you know, they have new technology and all that kind of stuff to animate this stuff and make it look perfect. The lighting has always been good, you know, so I really like that, and I always appreciate it because they never missed the mark on that. So I'm going to talk about two things you missed, right? At the start, right, there was a couple, right, at the bottom left of the screen, and that is actually Kiba and Tamaki, who are basically there watching the match. I don't know if anyone saw that, right, but in the movie it was there and no one actually saw it, right? And then, you know, they decided to add it into this one as well, into this episode. So just so you know, Kiba and Tamaki were there at the bottom left at the start of the episode. And also, there is something missing with Shinki, and that is his puppet, right? He had a, you know, skeleton looking puppet with him, hidden in his cloak with him, right? And he would hide it in the sand, the iron sand, right? And they've taken it away. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they wanted Araya to be the one using puppets instead of Shinki, right? Because then, you know, he would have the iron sand and the puppets at the same time, which would be overpowered. So I don't know whether they got rid of the puppet or whether they decided to give it to Araya instead, so he has a purpose in the team, right? So I don't know about that. So let's talk about Shikadai's team, right? So they all did horrible except from Shikadai, right? And I don't blame Shikadai, because he is a good planner, right? Follows the footsteps of his father, and he did really good. It just turns out that Boruto is a fucking cheater, right? But the thing is, the problem between the team is, and I've seen, is that they are so focused on the Inoshika Cho combination that they've forgotten, you know, that when they're in the battlefield, right, and their team is separated, they are gonna have to fight individually. And because of that, they are really, you know, terrible at fighting individually. Like, Inojin just got his ass handed to him, no problem, right? And then, you know, Chocho obviously put her best in, right? But you know, her attacks were not really working because she didn't really practice them that much, right, or wasn't used to them. She got dizzy with the, you know, human boulder thing that she did, right, which means he wasn't really, you know, proficient in using it, right? So I think the problem with the team is that they need to focus more on individual compatibility instead of together, because obviously the combination thing is always going to happen, but you know, that is the weakness of the team at the moment. So they're going to get more training from Muegi, right? And I hope she actually knows how to train them, right? So then after that, we get the scene with, you know, Sakura and Sarada, right? And I actually have a fucking question, right? I actually have a question. Okay, so you're telling me, right, and I've brought this up before, that Sakura is the best medic ninja in the entire village and probably the entire world, right? And you're telling me that the best medical ninja has not taught her own daughter, who has good chakra control like her, how to heal herself? That doesn't make sense. Like, Sakura, what the fuck are you doing, right? And then also, you know, she says, obviously Sasuke comes around, you know, at night to show me that Uchiha technique, you know what I'm saying? But obviously you're asleep, Sarada, so you don't see that shit, and, you know, he likes it that way, you know what I'm saying? So Sasuke does come around and all that kind of stuff. So my question is like, okay, so after the chuunin exam is done, right, like, is Sasuke gonna leave? And I think like it has been answered, right, but I forgot that. So if you know the answer, let me know in the comment section down below, right? And also they've changed the like subscription thing. Apparently YouTube has changed it, so I need you people to hit the subscribe button again, right, and select to be notified exactly when I post something, you know what I'm saying? Because if you don't, then most of my videos you're not going to see, and you're going to think, oh, this nigga's not uploading, right? But then I am uploading, but you're just not seeing it because YouTube fucked up the subscription thing again, right? So just go, right, and subscribe again, right, and then select to be immediately notified when I upload something, right? So now let's talk about the last part of the episode, right, which I thought was actually important. Because Sasuke is not only teaching Boruto techniques, he's teaching him, you know, morals and all that kind of stuff. He's talking about himself, and he said that there was a person who went and got power in any despicable means without listening to his friends, and it cost him dearly, right? I think what he's talking about is he's talking about himself, right? At first I thought he was talking about Uchiha Madara, but he's talking about himself, and what it cost him was his brother, because he was so, you know, wrapped up in revenge that he forgot to actually listen to his friends, and that ended up in him being so power hungry to the point where he even killed his brother, which he regrets, right? And then he has other regrets, like attacking Sakura and attempting to destroy the entire village, which actually now allow him there, basically, right? So he was blinded by anger and revenge and power, right? And he's trying to teach Boruto that you know, sometimes you are blinded by certain things that makes you forget what really matters, right? And the thing is, people are going to say, okay, so why is he saying that? And the answer is simple. He's trying to talk about power, right? He's trying to lecture Boruto about power. And why is he trying to lecture Boruto about power? Because Boruto doesn't feel like his own power is sufficient enough, right? So what he does is he uses the kote in order to cheat, and Sasuke knows this, right? But he's trying to tell him in a sly way and say, look, you know, I also had that, you know, issue with power once when I needed it, and I never listened to my friends, right? And it didn't end up well for me. But he's just saying someone else did it, so he's saying it in a slight way, so he doesn't look bad, right? Or he's just, you know, trying to give Boruto some advice, but he's talking about the kote. That's at least my interpretation of it. But you know, the next episode we are having a, you know, a fight between Shinki, Sarada, and Boruto, right? So the question is Boruto gonna get caught in this chuunin exam? Because he hasn't been yet. He should have been caught already, but he hasn't. And are the Otsutsukis gonna, you know, interrupt the fight? And speaking of which, Urashiki raped he raped Gaara. He just popped up, right, and put his fucking rod in him, fucking raped him, right? And then Gaara was like, oh, I was late and shit. I got basically attacked. He never said that he got fucking rod put in him against his fucking will, right? That was kind of funny to me. The first time I saw that scene, I was kind of laughing because you're the Kazekage and you just got attacked by someone who just popped up in there, and then he did this thing and he just left like you were no fucking deal. So that's kind of I kind of laughed at that. But yeah, this was my episode review. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I kind of dragged a lot of the stuff along because I wanted you to know everything I said. And don't forget to subscribe, obviously, and hit that notification button, and make sure you do it because YouTube has once again fucked up the subscriptions, you know what I'm saying? So if you really are interested in what I have to say and want to know whenever I upload, then please do. If you have anything to say, if you want to share your peace of mind in the comment section down below, write it and I will read it, right? I will try my best and I will upload whenever I can. With that being said, I have nothing more to say, and bye.